My studio continues to have the same problem over and over and over. I'm currently watching paint dry, the most fun thing in the world. And what I paint on is actually my workbench. It's the space where I store a lot of stuff. It's a big toolbox. Here, let's take a look. So this butte right here is the toolbox that I have been using for about a year now. I think I got it over the summer. It's a Husky, big old toolbox, got the tabletop, it's got a power strip built into the side, and it's pretty much perfect for all of my uses. And I've got the tabletop that I've used for multiple different things at different points. It was a charging station when it was back there. Now it's currently like a work surface, and I think it's gonna be great for that. I'm getting mounts set up. I've got a video on the other channel coming about how I'm gonna mount cameras overhead and stuff like that. But organizing my supplies, both here and at the main setup, has been nothing but a nightmare for my art stuff. I decided what the first drawer would be before I even bought the thing. Top row was always going to be lenses. From the second I figured out that I wanted to buy this, that was always this drawer's purpose. And I've both shrank and expanded my lens collection since then. I've got EF glass, vintage glass, RF glass for a couple pieces, but then it's expanded to contain camera bodies. We've got 2 bags of camera filters. We've got some vintage stuff, literal Super 8 camcorder in here. I've kind of exploded into it, and I don't even have room to hold the camera that I'm recording this with. It's a problem. My film supply drawer also seems pretty locked in as to what it's going to be. I've got tapes, I've got Instax stuff back there, a couple actual film cameras, and then we've got 35mm, we've got Instax, we've got 120mm film, or 100, whatever, large format, medium format rather, film, 8mm. That's what's in here. I kind of don't really want to change it. It's maybe not in the ideal position, but it's done. It's where it's at. And of course, who could forget the microphone drawer? I used to have 3 microphone drawers. It's just this one. I keep a lot of my review sample microphones at the ready for comparisons and things like that. Don't really have a reason to change it. This drawer barely even opens all the way half the time and just has miscellaneous production gear. So we've got extra weights for my jib. We've got, gels for lighting. We've got lots of lighting accessories. I think that's a little Amaran light. Another Amaran light. Lots of little stuff like that. A tripod head's back there. Stuff that I need to be able to get to, but I don't really have anywhere else to go. And these were big bucket drawers. Seemed like a good place. This one started as the utility drawer and now has devolved into chaos. I've got ink for my printer, I've got my label maker, I've got my paint cups, a palette, I've got face paint and stamps, I've got googly eyes, ribbons, computer screws, thumbtacks, pin backs. I don't know. Not to mention the shelves for the main art wall in the first place. These has been a continuously evolving problem, one which I still don't necessarily have the answer to. I've got some semblance of organization, like it's already overcrowded and it's not necessarily the most effective either. This has been the one bad thing about the studio setup since I moved here. We bought a house in 2020, turned an entire massive 2-car garage into a studio. It's been great for so many things, and for my overall ADHD, having just one giant box that I can spread out into and continuously morph and shape how I like, as I've been doing over and over, absolutely incredible. But there's no closets, there's no nooks and crannies. Like I have one little corner behind the HVAC stuff, but otherwise it's just a big open box, and so I only have effectively 4 walls that shelves or things that need to spread out to the walls, like my desks and stuff, can go to. And I have an attic, but it's very limited on space, and I don't have a pull-down ladder for it yet, so I can, I can't get up to it very easily. It's been very difficult to find ways to organize things that don't look like clutter, because, again, with my ADHD, I need stuff out, available, accessible. I need it visible where I know, because otherwise I'm gonna forget about projects for months at a time. Like, I need all of that. but I also don't have very many places to just stash things. Like, theoretically, those big bucket drawers could just be totes that are labeled and shoved somewhere. And I don't really have anywhere to shove totes at the moment. Like, and I still need it available, so I can't shove it up in the attic. It's a nightmare to get up there because I got to get the ladder out of the shed, set it up, blah, blah, blah. It's what we're working on for this video. We're gonna find a storage solution for at least some of these things. And then I'm gonna get your feedback from any of you who are neurodivergent and have similar, psychological issues on how you keep stuff organized in small spaces. All right, well, through a mix of art store haul pickups and online orders, got a bunch of new spray paint stuff in, including some sealant and paint and all that. And I'm realizing that putting the spray paint up on the shelf is not a good enough solution due to the amount of it. But then it kicked in that I'm doing the same thing I always do when I organize things that is a major flaw or oversight that is already getting in my way. Which thankfully I've discovered it before I decided this was done for this phase, in that I'm building out my organization based on what's important to me in this exact moment, which for a lot of people that only do a couple consistent things, that's not really a big deal. But for me, down my rabbit holes, I'm currently super obsessed with the spray paint art stuff that I want to do. And so I'm acquiring new spray paint and new tools for it and caps and all this stuff. But realistically, long term, I can't keep doing it in this space. In my studio here, it's not, crazy well ventilated. It's not outside, whatever. And I already had plans to build out this spray can rack organizer for the shed, where these things need to live most of the time, so I can do my spray paint. I'm going to build an outdoor spray paint booth by the shed and all this stuff, because I can't really keep doing it in here forever. The fumes get really bad, and they linger for days, so it's not like I can just vent it out once or whatever. And so I need to take all these down off the shelf, reclaim and re-strategize for what that shelf is going to do, and figure out a plan for how I'm going to keep these in here in the interim until it's not winter anymore and I can put them back in the shed. This is why I struggle so much. Also, check it out. I got a new Lazy Susan turntable. This one is fancy. Rubber base, doesn't slide. Ugh. Heavy, doesn't slide. Metal bearings. Smooth, doesn't rattle. Spins super smoothly and just goes. Perfect for product shots, perfect for pours. I have a motorized one for product shots when I need it, or for pours and things like that, or if I just want a little more control. This is great. Now, I had another one. Now, I shopped at my local Walmarts and my Myers and whatever, and I looked at the reviews of all the ones on Amazon. And, like, I've had this big boy for a long time, but they all struggle from the same thing. I mean, you can tell as soon as you spin it. Look at the bounce. Listen to that awful sound. This is great for your spices. If somehow you have a cabinet or a corner counter this massive, you rich people. But the problem is, this is plastic spinning on plastic. And honestly, the momentum you get in this little mechanism here is pretty surprising. But it just sounds horrible. There's no lubrication. It doesn't spin very well. Peace. This is a nasty, debris-blowing thunderstorm. And this is just the sweet rain pitter-pattering on your window and in your gutters. I think it was like 40-something bucks. This isn't an ad. I will have a link in the description, but, you know, you do you. I'm done with this. Is going to Goodwill. I may save it for if I need to spin a big product for like a quick shop, but like, yeah, this did not work at all. Garbage. If you've been enjoying this art studio tour and update video, this is actually only part 1 of 2. Part 2 is combined with part 1 along with a bunch of extra details and things that I set up and things like that in the full extended cut over on my own video streaming site, Nebula. I wanted to provide a bunch of extra background information about how I do what I do and how we set things up in here and things like that for those of you who have been supporting my work and allowing this to happen. So head on over to nebula.tv/analogdreams. It will be linked in the description below, and it is the best way you can support my work, my channel, all of that, as when you sign up for an annual subscription, 1/3 of the revenue immediately goes to me, and all the other revenue goes to building out this amazing site and supporting the other awesome creators on there, as Nebula is a creator-owned video platform that has a gamut of awesome, super smart, super thoughtful creators. Legal Eagle, Thomas Frank, Renee Ritchie. You got all my channels over there. You got Lindsay Ellis, people like that over there making awesome content. And you don't want to miss out. We're doing early stuff, so on top of the extended cut of this video, I do have a whole separate video about my painting process for a cool spray paint style galaxy setup that I'm learning, already up on there, ready to go. And I try to have, whenever a video goes live here on YouTube, my next video already ready to go over on Nebula. So again, nebula.tv/analogdreams. Link will be in the description below. Don't miss it.